Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
How are
everybody.
you, Abe?
Good, Dave. I wanted to welcome everybody to our Conversations on the Green. We're back. We're back for this great series for the next 6-7 weeks. It's Monday, October 19th. It's 8 p.m. We're live. My name's Avery Saltzman.
I'm David Eisner.
We're the co-artistic directors of the Harold Green Jewish Theater Company. And we're glad we're back. Eh, Dave?
100%. Well, this is sort of the launch of, I think, a wonderful fall programming that we have lined up. And we'll get to more of that further along in the show. But this is sort of the beginning, and we look forward to talking about that. But we have two wonderful guests. Sure. A couple of very handsome men that don't look anything like the picture that you just saw of them. My brother from another mother, Avery Saltzman. And who will you be speaking to?
My other brother from another mother, my friend David Eisner. We're our guests for tonight. It'll be fun.
Beautiful. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to
countdown. I got a little nervous when it was counting.
I know.
No. Cool.
Well, we're here now. And listen, if you want to make a comment or share a question that we'll get to, you can click, or maybe the chat or the comment box is right there beside our screen. If not, there should be a link that will take you to YouTube channel where you will find the place where you can make a comment. We love to hear from you during our conversation as well.
And also at the bottom of your screen, there'll also be a scroll where you can, anytime during this conversation, you can donate to the Harold Green Jewish Theater Company. There we go. It's a tough time for every theater company, since don't have any live stuff coming up, that we're doing things virtually, and dollars always help us to produce great stuff online, like our radio plays coming up, our reading series. There's so much opportunity that we have coming up in the fall and next year. So any donation to the Harold Green Jewish Theater Company at this time would be really greatly appreciated.
Or you buy a ticket. Buy a ticket to one of the concerts, Cabarets, which Avery is starring in on Sunday, or the radio show, or Amy Sky. You can buy those now. Or anytime on our website. But let's start our conversation on the green.
Good.
Avery and I,
yes.
Like a lot of our patrons, grew up in Bathurst Manor. I think I don't have to explain where that is in Toronto. For me, it was kind of like the wonder years. I mean, in the sense that it was true suburbia. I loved it. I mean, we'll get more into it. There was a slight undercurrent, because quite a few families were Holocaust survivors within this community. My dad was a Holocaust survivor. I know my neighbors across the road. And so there was that. At the same time, and I could see why a lot of Holocaust survivors would like that area, because it was very peaceful and serene and wonderful. Is that your perception of Bathurst Manor growing up?
Well, like you said, I loved it too. It was the wonder years, and I went to you went to the same school, the same public school in junior high and high school with the same kids, So you spent 20 years of your formative years, and that's why it's so cool. Right. When I see them, I'm sure you have to have the same feeling when you see old friends that were from the Bathurst Manor. You get a really nice, warm feeling, and a lot of them are subscribers, which is fantastic. But I really wasn't privy. I didn't know about the concentration of Holocaust survivors, because my parents or grandparents were not privy. I mean, they came over to the States or to Canada in the 1920, 22, 23, around that time. So I wasn't really aware of that until a couple years ago when you said that. But I guess I can understand that migration. Do you? Did they come from downtown, basically,
right.
or?
Yeah, I mean, I think the immigration was, the college area, and then they came. This Bathurst Manor was a new suburb in the late 50s, starting out.
I think
that was the outskirts.
56. But I remember.
So
sorry, Dave, hanging out at the corner store. I mean, remember the yo-yo guy used to come you know,
Oh
uh,
yeah,
and I forget
unbelievable.
the brand, but we used to have the competitions there, the yo-yo, and we used to hang out there and eat Lolas, and just
Yeah. No,
play play
that plaza
baseball.
was unique.
Yeah, yeah,
Doesn't exist anymore.
I
Torn
know,
down.
I
You're
know.
right. Baseball with the BMCA.
Yeah,
Um, that was cool, and all the tension that brought. Beth Emeth was the synagogue we walked. It was Archdettel. It was our village,
yeah,
and I know the Greens are from there.
right,
The Ontario Jewish Archives. This tells you how old we're getting. They're doing a retrospective that I was lucky enough to be part of, talking about growing up there. Before that, it was sort of the college Kensington market.
right.
Now they want to make sure they cover everybody while they're still alive about
I mean,
Bathurst Manor. I
I,
mean,
I
you grew up with two brothers?
I grew up with two brothers. I'm saying I really didn't get downtown till I was about 13, 14. I think you and I, we took the bus and we took it to Eglinton because the subway started there, and then we took the subway to Bloor and Young, and I went to the Toronto School of Drama. Marjorie Purvey. Did you? I mean, a lot of kids.
As I did.
Yeah, I don't think you were in my class though, but I think her one claim to fame was that she was in the Last of the Mohicans, and that's
Oh,
about
cool.
all I knew of her resume.
Right. But
Yeah,
that was cool. That was our link. Used to
yeah,
look at the Toronto Star 6:35 acting jobs. But
yeah.
before that, I mean, we loved, as you said, the manor. You grew up with three brothers,
Two brothers. I have
or two brothers,
yeah,
three altogether.
yeah. And
Grew up with three sisters.
your sisters, you're the only boy, right? Yes, of
I was the
course.
spoiled one.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
you mentioned your dad was a Holocaust survivor and stuff, and I don't know. I know you. We've shared so much time over the last 15 years, and then we've been friends for a long, long time. So I know a little bit of your history, but a lot of our patrons and a lot of our Harold Green family don't. And did your dad talk a lot about? Because your dad was one of the young. He was 13 in
He was pretty young. Yeah.
right? Yeah,
He was born in 31.
yeah,
So basically, he was 10, 11, 12 during the war years, till 45. And he lost, one day, he lost his family. His brother, who was my uncle, who was survived, he was in the Russian army. But his dad, it's funny, I refer to them as his dad opposed to my grandfather because I never knew him. But his dad died of dysentery, and his mother and his two sisters were shot one day. And my dad happened to be close by, but not where he could get caught. And he ran on his own, and he was on his own through forests and through farms. And finally, a couple of years in, a woman took him in. So, like so many miraculous stories, guile and luck, and he survived. And he didn't talk about it much. Um, he did talk about it with my wife. So I got pieces growing up. Whereas my aunt, who survived, was one of the speakers of Holocaust Education Week. My aunt Shirley, otherwise known as Sally Eisner. She died years ago, but people handle it differently. My dad never spoke about it, but he came here with nothing very quickly. I think it was called the Canadian Congress, gave him through Halifax to Toronto, gave him a job. He was in an orphanage. He was making Christmas balls, and then he was in upholstery. He ended up starting his own furniture business with his partner, A.B. Barrett, Sally's brother. And they were like one of the major manufacturers of kitchen sets in Canada. So he really became quite successful and led a full life. And yeah,
Well,
it
you
was,
have three incredible sons, Noah, Ben, and Sam. And was
yeah.
your dad? Did they know of your dad's past through him or through you? Oh, Dave, that's a
What?
great the picture. Do you not see
Oh,
what?
now I do. Yes, there they
Oh my
are.
God,
That's
those are
Noah,
Noah.
Noah, Ben, and Sam. Sam's the little one. Noah's the big
Okay.
one. And I think I had the top of my head ironed flat. This was, this was Earl Bales Park one
Oh
day.
my God, what a great picture. So did your dad share his history with them, or did that basically come from you, his story?
You know what? Minimally. And I did minimally. there was a lot of pain. We didn't want to, but they
Right.
know, and
Right.
they,
Yeah. Which I
and
think
your dad was in the war. Your dad
my
was in the war
my dad was in the
as a
American Army
soldier.
as a soldier, and he was awarded the Bronze Star from General Eisenhower when Eisenhower
That's
was
unbelievable.
was general before he was president. And the thing is, my mom and dad wrote letters all the way through the war, back and forth. And my mom saved all of my dad's letters. So our family now is in the process of getting them all transcribed. There's over 400 of them. It's a real chronological story of the events happening in Europe during the war, my dad's impressions, and love letters to my mom.
It's
I read,
incredible.
I read these letters, and I haven't read all of them. I can't wait to read them in chronological order, all of them. But my dad was 22, 22, 23.
Mm.
He's a young man, and I only know my dad as my dad, but to hear him profess love and writing poetry, because my dad and my mom were not very emotional. They weren't outwardly, very little hand holding or kissing and stuff. So they were very cut off that way. So to see my dad in that light, it's really mind blowing, mind blowing. I
That's
mean,
incredible.
some of the letters are, I love all the freckles on your face. Well, I knew my mom for 6 years. I never saw one freckle on her face. So,
Oh, that's
but
funny.
yeah, it's really kind of cool.
What a gift to get an insight lens into. Oh, here's a good childhood friend,
Yeah.
uh, Sean Zevit, who's a rabbi in Philadelphia. Great sharing lives. Charlie, we're going to get that in 1 minute. What
Well, yeah,
is
I think it's a great
an
story.
infamous
Can I tell it?
monologue that all three of us shared? Sure.
I
So just before we get to it, why don't we talk about we have our slightly of our background, a little snapshot, but when did you start to think of getting into the business?
it was, I think there was one seminal moment when in high school, but I was always, uh, I was never
As a
really a
kid,
shy
listening to
kid. You know
records?
what I mean? I was never really a shy kid.
Yeah.
I loved standing up in front of the class. I loved lip syncing to records in my bedroom. You know what I mean? Uh, they were
Right.
they were usually Ethel Merman's songs, but you know, but I lip synced to the albums and stuff, and it was just transitioned into that. And I went to summer camp Manitowobbing, which is a camp of fine arts where you got to major in your musical. So I majored in musical theater. But this camp, um, if you studied your instrument, you were playing your instrument all day. So you were in the theater orchestra. So the plays had full orchestras. They rented all the costumes from Malabar's, and they pressed records. I have
Oh my
records.
God.
Yeah, and please, I played John Proctor in The Crucible when I was 13, but I always wanted to perform,
So you always,
yeah,
right.
and you
For
too, for that.
me, for me, I left Associated Hebrew School. I didn't go to the local school. I left because I was asked to. Between me and you only. It would be better on all parties if you decided to go to a public school. But you know what? It was a breath of fresh air, and I fell in love with acting when I was in grade 7. I think I went to the Marjorie Purvey. And then in high school, a theater arts teacher who we both had, Mr. Schuster, told me about an agent, because I had no idea how the connection from civilian and that started me off. And
Well,
I played an extra, but then
it started you off pretty big because you were 17 and you got a lead in King of Kensington. Maybe it was the second or third season, but that sort of
yeah,
catapulted you. Really, I mean, you didn't really go with any stepping stones. You were plunked right down in that series.
yeah, that was incredible. I was full of confidence. I know they were auditioning so many people, and they went to the States to audition. And I thought, I could this show. Why wouldn't I get on this show? And I read, and then they made me read with the actors, and then I got the part, and then I remember being numb. How am I going to do this? I loved it, and very quickly at the end of that week, I got to work with Fiona Reed. I had a crush on her. It was called The Crush, And at the end of it, they gave you, at that point, they had the credits on a card rather than on a roll. I had that and a bottle of champagne, which was a prop, and everyone had left. And I went, oh my God, I'm doing what I always wanted to do. And I was so happy. And I was lucky that led to other things with that King of Kensington and onwards. But you had a seminal moment with Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, Fiddler on the Roof. It was a Jewish high school. I played Tevye, and I've told this story before, but I had finished singing "If I Were a Rich Man," Linda Miller. That was nice. Avery was singing and dancing around my living room, lip syncing to Ethel Merman. But I was standing in the spotlight, and after Rich Man, and listening to the applause, and I was bathed in this light, and it was like a protective bubble. And I said, "This is for me. This is how I'm going to spend my life." It was, and I think that I had already auditioned for York. I don't remember, but that takes us to the Charlie story that Sean Zevit.
Yes, okay, let's get to
I had to do an audition to get into York for the performance. I think I had to sing a song. I had to do a classical monologue, and I did Romeo. Of all the parts for a young Jewish chunky boy to do, I could have played Festi. I could have played the porter in the Macbeth, but no, I picked Romeo. And then my contemporary monologue was from Charlie. The movie that Cliff Robertson starred in, where he he played the mentally challenged young man, and he had this great monologue where he went to his teacher, Mrs. Kenyon, and she asked him what his name was, and he, the only way he could, spelled his name C-H and spelled out Charlie. So I got into York. And then you auditioned for something, correct? So you picked up the Charlie monologue.
That's correct.
And then
I was at Juilliard in New York. Yeah.
Is that what your entrance into Juilliard?
I swear to you, I did Juilliard and Romeo in Romeo and Juliet.
What is it with young Jewish boys?
What led on to, pardon?
Oh, I didn't do that one. I did when Romeo commits suicide. I went for the big bucks. But
then
the
romantic.
You did the Charlie monologue, and then we passed it on to Sean Zevit, who's a rabbi now, and for his entrance into York, he also did the Charlie monologue. Isn't that funny?
Ave, I did it on dates. Hey, you want to see me act? It's got a long history. But then let's go a little bit forward. Yes, sorry.
Sure. I'm saying if we want to go forward, it's a great segue. Out of King and Kensington, Jack Humphrey was the executive producer of King and Kensington, and you got 9 or 8 years on Hanging In, right? For CTV.
Yes, 7, 8 years, yes. I was thrilled. I was a semi-regular on There I Am Here with the lovely Lally Cadeau.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, and that's Ruth Springford as well. And that handsome devil in the middle doesn't exist anymore. He turned into me. But Lally Cadeau, and there I am there with it was a subtle comedy, you can tell.
That was before the camera rolled.
But yes. But you know what? Lally got to be in our very first show.
Right.
Which we'll talk about later. And our 10th anniversary. So it's funny how things are cyclical. Yeah. But yes, that led to Hanging In, and it was the most fun. I'm in my 20s. I get to act in a comedy. So it was a lot of fun.
You know what's great about
and
that? Because we were in high school together, and we wanted to be acting. So for me to see a colleague or a buddy of mine land that, oh my God, it was so exciting. And I remember visiting you on the set, of Hanging In, and going, Dave, can you maybe be an extra? Can I maybe be an extra on it? You said, sure. Never in the 7 years was I on the set of Hanging In. Thank you. But I left.
Can you get that man out of the studio?
I let that go.
Hey, you had your own series, but before we get to that, you didn't even finish York because Showbiz was calling, and you went to Theatre New Brunswick.
You're right.
To do a play.
I was very fortunate. Yeah. Malcolm Black was a teacher of mine at university, and at that time, the Shaw Festival in Stratford came through universities and auditioned people, and I was asked to go to Shaw between my 3rd and 4th year, and I never went back. And Malcolm was a teacher of mine and happened to take over theater in New Brunswick, and he said, "Don't go back to school because your experience is your teacher by doing. You can go back and memorize monologues for school, but doing is your education." So he gave me a full season at T&B. I played Potso in Waiting for Godot with R.H. Thompson, Tommy Hoff, and Jerry Parks. 22, I was much too young, but Malcolm gave me opportunities. I played the porter in Macbeth, and I played the barber in Mancha. So it was great, and that just
Incredible.
kept me rolling. Yeah.
And you never look back. I remember going to Shaw Festival and think about Sheila McCarthy and seeing you in with the LOL, the handsome guy in the middle is David. I remember. Oh, right. Susan Dorchick. I think that's who that is. But the seeing you doing with a fireman outfit, and you're at Shaw Festival, and I'm in such awe.
Yeah.
What was the play? And Sheila was your choreographer.
Sheila was the choreographer. It was the first musical ever at Shaw. It was called Lady Audley's Secret. I was ensemble. Well, there was only like 10 people in the show. And I played a fireman. I played a village person. But we weren't in rep. And Shaw's a rep company. We did 8 shows a week of that. So I didn't do any other show but that show. But all my friends came down. My family came down. And it was glorious. I was 22 when we were kids. But it was like it was yesterday. Yeah.
I'm going to jump forward because you've had such a long career. You've had the Mirvish show, which has been incredible. The theater, I'm going to get to that in a minute. The theater we're in, now called the Meridian Arts Center. Did you open that theater up?
No, I didn't open it. Showboat opened it up. But I was the second in that. I did Sunset Boulevard with Diane Carroll. When there was an H in the middle of that. Oh, my God.
I love that story at the end of a curtain call.
Look at that picture.
Diane Carroll. Oh, let me see. Oh, wow.
I'm the short one.
Which show is this?
That's Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So you have a terrific little short story at a curtain call. Diane Carroll.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a curtain call. She sings her big song, and she's in the studio in the second act. She and then she goes off and sits on the director's chair on the side, and we, as the people who worked in the studio, were to rush over to her and talk to her, and another scene was going on in the middle of the stage. So we were going miming, stuff like that. It was called rhubarb, because if you said rhubarb, people would think you're saying something. So anyways, we started whispering and stuff like that. So I said, Diane, boy, you were a 10 tonight. Your song was fantastic. She goes, what are you grading me now?
Nice.
So terrible. Oh my God, it was awful. Yeah.
But to be in that huge theater and work there, and talk about some of the shows you did with the Mirvishes.
Well, I only did 2 shows. I did Damn Yankees with the Mirvishes. Oh my God, Matt, that's me with my tongue out. I don't know what I was doing. That's a nice
my God. Okay, then I see it.
That wasn't in the show. That was an intermission. All the guys had to be on stage because at the beginning of the second act was a song called "You've Got to Think About the Game," and I came in right after that show. So we always congregated at intermission to just talk and see how the show was going. I played the devil in that show, Applegate. It was a great experience. And 2 years prior to that, I did Kismet. That was a real big. Wow. Oh my God! There we go. That's me in the middle. Outrageous costume, and that's Judy A. Judy won 2 Tonys, and that's Jack Duffy, who played my father.
Duffy, I thought so.
Yeah, who played my father. Oh, glorious! That was the first time on the stage of the Royal Alex, and I was very fortunate because there were 5 leads in the show, and I got cast as one of them, and with a guy named Ted Pappas who directed it. And from that one relationship, he became the artistic director of the Pittsburgh Public. So I did many shows with them. I did Pajama Game on Broadway that he brought me down for. He directed that. I did Forum. He directed that. I did Promises, Promises of the Goodspeed Opera House. He directed that. And there's Forum.
Wow.
I'm in the middle of a bevy of beauties.
Oh, as a young man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's so
Gorgeous.
funny, the people you meet along your journeys, you don't know what's going to happen. And that, I've told this story many times, and I think the beautiful synchronicity of you and I, you're 2 years younger, but we had high school together. Who would have known all those years that we'd Jack Duffy from the Party Game, and this is Ellie Nuttall. Hi, Ellie. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Hi.
who would have known, Dave, that all those years ago that you and I would be sharing the second part of our lives pretty much together? I find that that incredible.
We stayed connected. It is incredible. You're right.
Yeah.
We did stay connected. I lived in LA for a while, there for a little bit, and you came and visited a few times, and you came and we visited each other in Toronto.
Yeah, and I lived there I lived there when you were living there. That's where I met your wife, Elizabeth.
Oh yes.
And you may not know this, but prior to us starting the Harold Green, you and I and our friend Tony DeSantis invented board games, and we invented two board games. Remember, we took them to Canada Games, and they got turned down, so we dumped the board games.
We dumped the board games and continued the acting.
Yeah. Very.
What was one of your favorite roles? Favorite roles that you have?
Oh my God, I love doing Pseudolus. I love that doing that. I did a show at Theatre Orangeville called Kiss the Moon, Kiss the Sun that Norm Foster wrote that I really enjoyed doing.
That was a beautiful show.
Every show has had great. I love doing what we did. What the Harold Green did a couple years ago. Therefore, Choose Life. That Jake Epstein and his mom Kathy there.
That was a great show.
I played Jake's father, and it was great. Boy, talk about working with a really cool actor. He's such a cool guy. The whole experience was fantastic. I loved every minute. We shared a dressing room, and it was great. How about yourself? Do you have a favorite or amongst all the stuff?
I love doing the series stuff. I love doing. I got to play Dr. Henry Morgenthaler, the Henry Morgenthaler story.
There you go. Look at that.
That was there. I am. Yes. Which one is Henry Morgenthaler? But it was fascinating to meet him. He's like 5'6".
Oh my God!
Such a force of life, Holocaust survivor, and to have the lead in this movie about was a gift. So that was really cool. And to work. What about the play about hockey at Avery Started?
Oh, I played Don Cherry, or a Don Cherry type of person.
Oh, right.
And I talked like this for the whole show. That's all I did. I don't know why I thought that was supposed to be Don Cherry, but that's how I did the whole show. Go. Yeah, so it was fun.
I found it fascinating. In LA, I didn't work a ton, but I did do Highway to Heaven, which was a great part. And Michael Landon, who's partly Jewish and coolest guy ever. And in the episode was Lou Ayres.
Oh my!
Lou Ayres, a fabulous actor who was Dr. Kildare. And early in his career, he was in All Quiet on the Western Front, 1920s.
Wow.
So on Turner Classic Movies, you can see him. And then I got to act with him. It's mind-boggling sometimes, the 6 Degrees, but also performing in some of the. My experience was mostly film and TV. When I got to act in some of the plays, I did do a few plays, but with Harold Green, I got to be in a few Neil Simon shows, which was wonderful. New Jerusalem, which working for Mitchell Cushman. Those were grand experiences. I know you had a lot of theater experience. I did, so I relished it. This is New Jerusalem, and wonderful cast, and it was just a real pleasure. And here was Brighton Beach Memoirs with Sarah Ornstein, and you don't stop learning. I remember she would help me a lot. I love this play.
Sherry Flett, Sterling Jarvis. in
brilliant
Nothing.
actors.
Yeah, my God, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant actors, and so those are
Oh,
really
look,
joys as well. And, oh, well, this was a wonderful experience. And there's Mrs. C, Mrs.
Mary and Rob.
Cunningham. Yeah, so those were great. And then to get to direct a few times, to direct Lally, to direct we did on the reprise of Rose, and then Linda Cash. It was
Yeah,
wonderful. Those are enriching, great experiences.
it's nice to look back at those pictures
We
too. It's it
Yeah.
seems today, and yet it's you know, some of them are 10 years already. So yeah,
And then we have our acting career, and then we got together one day. I had just come back from a reunion. Um, and you're
thank
right, you were amazing in Therefore Choose Life.
thanks.
Riveting.
Good experience.
Um, and I remember it was a reunion of theater with Reva Stern, and we
Leah
said we were
Parsons.
looking for something different. Leah Parsons Theater, we were looking for do something different. And it took about we committed ourselves to figure out what it would take to start a theater. We wanted to do a Jewish theater, exclusively Jewish, and we explored. We talked to so many artistic directors, and we had some great help from some leaders in the community, and not another Bathurst Manor family, the Green family, stepped up to the plate, and I was friends with Kevin, and you're friends with Carrie.
Right.
So they knew Carrie growing in high school. So that changed our life.
Yeah.
We what were some of the highlights of the early years for that? I remember there we are with
Oh my God.
seems like several years ago. What were some of the highlights that you've had?
Oh my God.
Wow.
We should say something.
Looks like you're holding up a mannequin.
We're just supposedly staring at these
What?
things, not saying anything. Oh my God. Well,
Yeah.
getting our first show up was an experience. That was phenomenal.
Meeting Jim Rowe. Yeah, meeting Jim Rowe at the St. Lawrence Center. Remember that? I remember walking away, and you said, "I'm scared now. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little anxious, just because it's a big space. It's it's a Toronto theater."
Right.
And yeah, that was amazing to get that. The first two plays, that one
And Sisters Rose.
and our second, Sisters
But
Rose's
people don't
Right,
realize,
so beautifully.
from that
Pardon?
initial lunch we had, it took us 2 years, remember, to get to our first show. I mean, it just didn't happen overnight. We had to raise monies, and we had to get our charitable license, and we had to do our due diligence, and because basically you and I had, well, started whoever ran a theater company before. I mean, and
Exactly. No, we had to learn the ropes. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
but it was that was a great experience. And I loved directing the musicals. You know, I loved directing To Life, or I created that show. I mean, with Tim,
That took a while to create. I mean, you
a
had come up with a
good
concept.
year to create. You know, and but we both of us dived in, and no one said we couldn't. And I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people on the way. I can't maybe who said you guys are fools for doing
Good
it.
luck to you.
Good luck to you.
Yeah.
And we went out and did it, and I mean, we didn't do it alone either. We said with the Green family, and we've had, you know, and Matt, who'll say hi later, and you know, he's Matt Birnbaum's our general manager, and who keeps us in line, and who basically, you know, and it's a fat 2 years is nothing. Take it from me. That's Ellie Daniels. Yes, I was working on a Broadway show, which just takes so much time. Kathy Kaser, you were amazing. Well, thank you, Kathy. Kathy, she's a brilliant writer. But
Yeah.
do you have any advice for someone looking to start a theater company? I would say
I
mean, like I just said prior, do your due diligence. I mean, really. And
Yeah.
as in life, don't let anybody tell you no. And also, as we've been told in our acting careers, that if you can think of anything else to do, then do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean,
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
Because if you have a choice as an actor, if a choice leaving it or staying,
Yes.
you'll leave. The
Yeah.
reason I think you had a successful career, and hopefully I did too, is because we really didn't have a choice. No matter what, we were going to do it. And I think we had that same conviction, and it wasn't easy. And thanks to the Green family taking us through certainly some financial hardships until we landed in the Toronto Centre for the Arts, now called Meridian Arts Centre. Um, but it's taken a while, and the wonderful angels within our community, not to mention our subscribers and our who
Absolutely, our subscribers and our donors and our sponsors. And like I said at the beginning of the show, if you care to give during this hour, we always greatly appreciate it. But we have great programming, and some of our programming don't have a name above it that says sponsored by or donated, or so if you care to, see your name in lights and stuff like that, and want to help us sponsor and donate to some great programming that we have in the coming months and in the new year, just get in touch with us through our website, and Matt will get in touch with you. And that's our little commercial. But no, don't let anybody tell you can't, because that's what it was for acting too.
Yeah,
Don't you?
I think you're right.
I wanted to tell a story about your mom and my mom, because telling about not wanting your mom and my mom, we used to walk together at the Y. Remember, they used to walk the track together, and they used to say, my mom used to say, "What's David doing?" And your mom said, "What's Avery doing?" And if you were at a job, my mother would say, "Can David help you, Avery, get that job?" And every time Howie Mandel,
vice versa.
Every time Howie Mandel came on television, my mother would say, "He got a lucky break." So
yeah,
it's crazy.
Funny.
Yeah,
he's a sweet man.
Yeah,
but the what really gives me such nachas, so to speak, is when we come upon some of our subscribers who've been with us from the beginning, and the body of work that we've done, and they've hung in, and they've seen all of our shows. I go, wow. Do you have any favorite shows that come to mind? Not worrying you're excluding others, but what are some of your highlights?
So the ones that I were involved in, of course, directing and stuff or putting together, they were highlights. But to watch, I loved.
Yes.
I love Sisters Rosenzweig. I loved The Whipping Man. I mean, I've loved everyone for so many different reasons.
Yeah, no, we're not going to exclude others, but some of your favorites.
I loved you guys, you and Alon Nashman and Aris Stephanopoulos in what's Aris's
New Jerusalem.
New Jerusalem about Spinoza. I thought was fascinating, just fascinating,
right.
And Linda Miller. But there's one. Who's been with us for a long time, and Linda and I go back to the Bathurst Manor. Linda was in grade grade 1. We were in school together,
Great, and she's on our board. We have a wonderful board as well. And mentioned Brent Carver. Brent Carver, God rest his soul.
Yeah,
such an ephemeral, gifted. Like, some actors are good, some actors are transcendent.
Yeah,
and he just happened to touch the soul of himself, be able to share it with other people. He's in a category on his own, along with a few other actors.
Yeah,
and we got to. You knew him, I got to know him, and I so appreciated his contribution to our company.
Yeah. Being in a room with him was
fantastic. He did Walk Me to the Corner.
Yeah, putting that show together with him was fascinating. We chose all the material, me, Ezra Jacobs and stuff, and we would go through a lot of material, and he would sing it. And the first question it wasn't whether it fit his voice or whether it was like, there he is. With him, it was, does it fit my soul? Does it feed my soul? Because he had to wear it like a skin, Actors, I don't want to say the normal actor, because every actor has its own way, but people wear it differently, people attract differently, but he couldn't do anything if it wasn't connected to his heart. And he was brilliant on stage. he had a tough time with the ordinariness of life. He thought he was more alive on stage than he was, I think, during his life, and he had his thing. He had his plagued a little bit, but aren't we all? Aren't we all, to that matter? So
That's true. And you know what? When you give to the point that he gives,
yeah,
it costs you.
yes,
It does cost something to give to that degree, and not to say that but it just cost him, and he sacrificed his talent to the nth degree. So,
right,
but
right.
we were so lucky. Yeah. This is
Carol Strom.
Carol Strom. Yes.
Wow. Well, that's so nice. Thank you, Carol. What were some of your favorite shows, Dave?
I did love the first two because they were magical and they're so vivid.
Mhm.
I loved also Kindred Transport.
Oh my
We
God,
got to work. Yeah, the director from Shaw Festival,
Christopher Newton.
such an amazing veteran of a man. And I'll never forget. We were outside opening nights for almost all the shows. We kind of aren't in the theater. We go out, and then we watch the audience come out. They were stunned. It was like seeing a deer in headlights, and I knew how effective that show was when I saw them come out. And that was a powerful piece. So, and to work with Christopher Newton and his set designer from Shaw Festival,
Cameron
so
Porteous.
Cameron Porteous. Other favorite shows. Also, I love the
That was a
Working
lesson,
Man.
Dave. That was a lesson for us too, because I mean, Christopher was the artistic director of the Shaw Festival for many years, and we thought he'd be brilliant. And we thought, well, let's just call him. We thought, how we call Christopher Newton on the phone? I mean, he was an artistic director. He's got to be so busy. We called him. Remember, we drove up to Niagara-on-the-Lake. We met him in his backyard, and he said, "Yeah, I'm doing nothing." So I mean, that was
Well,
really
there's your other lesson.
yes.
There's your other lesson. You have to be fearless.
Yeah.
And take chances. You don't ask, you don't get. You have to be fearless, and that's very true.
And
Yeah.
That I learned.
Yeah.
From you. That I've learned from you, my friend, is that all people can say is no. That's it.
Yeah.
So do it. You're tenacious. You're it's
Well, so are you.
Well, yeah.
And
If we're going to throw plaudits around, what I've learned from you, that's a great lesson. So I carry through. So
that's kind of you.
Yeah.
And now we're in transition. I mean, so for now, until we're back in the theater, and we have some great programming lined up.
Right.
I hope I'm not freezing. Some great programming lined up in the very near future, and we're planning the spring. We have different options. Hopefully, we'll be back in the theater. If not, we have some really exciting programming in the winter. But let's talk about the fall.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this week.
Well, this week is an exciting week. Thursday, we have the first of the Sholem Aleichem reading series. It's for 3 weeks, 3 consecutive Thursdays. And the first one is this Thursday at 8 p.m.
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, yeah.
And it's free. And you read the first one, the Yom Kippur Scandal.
Yeah.
Teresa Tova. It's after she reads the clock. And then I'm the week after that, and I read Dreyfus and Kasserlefke. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's every Thursday, starting this Thursday. And I'm very excited about it. He's such a iconic writer, and
God, yeah.
It was a real pleasure putting it together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's this Thursday, and it's free. And then following that,
and then
Sunday
is, oh my God, me?
Who would that be? Look at that handsome fella.
Look at that handsome fella. Well, an Avery Saltzman Cabaret. Yeah, I'm in the midst of memorizing lyrics and patter, and it's going to be live. It's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. It's those nights that give me great pleasure, Dave. I still love acting through song. I still love singing. I don't get a chance to do
every time I hear you sing, Dave, sorry to interrupt you, but every time I hear you sing, I mean, I have to recalibrate. I said, "Oh my God, I forgot what a gifted
Well,
singer you are," and that's so true. And I know you'll knock it out of the park. It's only $36 for the whole household, and you have 72 hours to watch it. Either watch it live or for the next 3 days. Was it fun to
yeah.
put together?
Yeah, it is fun to put together because no one's telling me what I can't sing. I'm just choosing all my favorite songs. I have some great showbiz stories, about some great auditions and shows that I didn't get. I have a great story about you, but I'm not going to tell you what
Oh,
that is. I'm going to leave that to Um, but so yeah, I'm having a great time putting it together, and I think yeah, I just hope people buy and that for that night. 36 bucks. Hey, I'm worth it. And but they'll really enjoy that.
100%.
Yeah.
You know,
And
there was a rabbi that said uh, the thing that'll get us through COVID is the arts. If for that $36 will elevate your spirits, and I'm hoping people will buy. Why don't we watch a little preview of it?
okay. Well, I'm not going to.
Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing a song. Hey, how is everybody? Oh, thank you so much for joining me for a couple of minutes.
Keep this short and sweet, Saltzman.
My name is Avery Saltzman.
Who else would you be?
And I'm going to be coming to your living room in a cabaret that's full of songs and stories just for you.
I hope I remember my lyrics.
An Avery Saltzman Cabaret.
Oh, that's clever.
Sunday, October 25th, 7:30 p.m. And it's going to be live.
Live? Am I crazy? What are they?
My musical director is none other than Mark Camilleri. He's fabulous, fantastic, and really good looking.
You better cough up the $20 he owes me.
And my special guest is Louise Camilleri.
She's so much prettier than I am.
All for $36.
$36? I think I'm worth more than 36.
So, how to buy tickets? Go onto our website, www.hgjewishtheater.com, and you'll be directed on how to buy tickets.
Do it now. Look into my eyes. Do it now.
Geez, enough already. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. So sing a song.
That was really good.
Wow.
Dave, I look like a melon stand in,
No.
at a supermarket. All those heads, all those bald heads.
You're cute as a button, and we love
Thank you. No,
and you're so talented. And,
Thank you.
I hope people will buy tickets because they'll love the show.
So that's this week, and then we have
Yes.
and then we continue the film election for 2 weeks after that, and then on November 22nd we have Amy Sky, the brilliant Amy Sky, is doing a
Wow.
concert for us. Also, she's brilliant. She's a brilliant jazz artist, and she connects to her Jewish roots in this concert.
Yeah.
So she's thrilled to get her, and so that also is $36, and I think you can buy my cabaret and Amy's cabaret and our radio play that's coming up also called Crossing Delancey.
I'm so happy and excited to direct this radio play. We have a great cast with Tal Gottfried, Teresa Tova, Jonas Chernick, Sarah Ornstein, and Jordan Peddle. And working in Mark's studio, we're going to put this brilliant, romantic, whimsical comedy to a radio version of the play. And I'm so excited. So that's great. And we have Joel and Joel Reitman Foundation to help support us with that. And yeah, so I'm excited. I hope people will buy all three and they'll save a little money and
Yeah.
buy the ones you want. But, people are a little Zoom weary. So I
I
think
know.
hearing a play vis-a-vis radio will be a wonderful antidote for that. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And then we have
and
sorry, we have the remainder of our conversation series, with a great. I mean,
Yes.
in the week ahead, next week is Teresa Tova, and then Amy Sky's talking about her concert and her life. Alex Sobler, brilliant Jewish Canadian playwright who wrote The Great Divide, that I'm going to be directing when we come back live. And also directed a great play called The Secret Annex, which is at the Segal Center.
The Winnipeg Jewish Theater.
Yeah. She's going to talk about the art of playwriting, which is brilliant. And then Carrie Green on November 16th. Vitaly Beckman. Dave, you want to talk a little bit about Vitaly and Mark?
Sure. Avery and I saw Vitaly when he did his show, An Evening of Wonders, in New York, and he was scheduled last season, but we've rescheduled him right after what do you call it? The play?
Oh, The Great Divide.
The Great Divide. It's getting late, Abe.
Yeah.
He was born in Russia, raised in Israel. He's one of the world's best illusionists, and I can't wait for him. And then finally, we end off with Mark Breslin, who's obviously the founder of Yuck Yucks, but he has his hand in so many things with Joan Rivers and all the wonderful comedians. He's really knows his comedy chops like no other in North America, and he's a brilliant guy. And all of these conversations are sponsored by a friend of our theater company, Sonny Goldstein Financial Consultants. We're so thrilled that he's come on board to help support us by sponsoring the conversations on the green. So thank you, Sonny. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we also have the conversations that we did prior during the summer that are on our website. So people who want to click on, they can see those past websites. Web shows, Conversation on the Green, and they can catch up. But it's been great getting to know these people on a one-to-one. So
absolutely, and we have some more surprises, I know, coming up that we can't quite announce yet, but that'll happen either in the fall, winter. But certainly, Avery and I are planning some wonderful programming. And you know what? With this new direction that we all have to go into, as you said, with the virtual programming, it can sometimes help you figure out and discover new ways to deliver your programming. And we have some very exciting possibilities that we're doing with Hanukkah in sort of a global event. So we're very excited about that. More of that's going to come. And multiple concerts and a whole range of things, and maybe doing plays even.
Dave, what do you
online to figure all this out?
Not in terms of plays and stuff like that, but what do you hope for in terms of the arts and theater for the Harold Green? Not in terms of programming, but is there something altruistic, or maybe that's the wrong word, but is it? What do you see about the future of the arts and theater?
Well, with our theater company, I love that we've grown our subscription base. I'd love to grow it even more. I would love to be able to tour some of our shows, and maybe we'll do that virtually. Who knows in the future? I'd love to have a young company. Get that going.
But in terms of the arts for the benefit of the world, I guess it's a huge question. I guess I'm asking you, but what do you see the arts? Do you see the arts coming back as bigger or transformed?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I think this whole virtual thing is great, but there is nothing like being live in person. And so there's something missing. And that little tiny ingredient is vital. It's the element that really helps us experience something in a profound way, that makes it different than movies and TV, in a visceral way. And we will get back. And you know what? I saw in Vancouver, they are starting to go back to live theater. They have so many different protocols. Naturally, there's less amount of people. You come at a certain time. You have to take your turn leaving. But eventually, we will get back. But I do miss that. It's ephemeral. Every night is different. Every audience, by their participation in the show, makes the show different. And I can't wait to get back to that magic of theater that we can provide. What about you, Ave?
Me too. I miss the sense of community that we have with our audiences. And I think people are realizing, in the bigger picture, that I think we've just got to look out for one another, and we got to practice what people are telling us to keep distance and do the thing, wear our masks but I think people are just opening up their hearts a little more, and people are finding things that they wouldn't have done if they were doing the day-to-day. They're finding bits and pieces of them that want to do other things and experiment with maybe creatively that they haven't done before. So it is changing people that way, but I know the arts will come back just as strong because people like Air need it and crave it. And so I'm really looking forward to us coming back in real, in reality.
Yeah.
And, but were any of the plays filmed? Could they be broadcast? Well, no, it's tough to do a play. You lose so much of the essence when the lighting isn't involved. And I know it's about the spoken word, but we are thinking of doing some 1 or 2 person plays in the new year. Correct, Dave? And
possibility. And who knows? Maybe in the fall we might do. There's plays that we have planned. We might even do outside.
Yeah.
And we're keeping in touch with the other theater companies in the city. We're keeping in touch with all the different Jewish theater companies. So we're certainly we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to figure this all out together.
I think Tracy Toll was always amazing. Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to Amy Size. Thank you, Susan. I think it's almost time to close, Dave. So our hour's almost up. So before we go, I just want to thank everybody watching today. Please, buy the programming for the rest of the week, and look into that. And but we thank you for returning with us to our conversation series. I want to introduce Matt. I always forget, and this time I have a big note. Introduce. He's our general manager. He's running the streams he's running StreamYard in the back room. And Matt, you want to come say hi?
Hello.
There he is. Hi, Matt.
Great job. How you guys doing?
Second delay. There he is. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing good. Great job tonight, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a couple of big photos that we missed that I think I need to get to.
Okay, go ahead. Here we go.
Let's take a peek.
I have this photo of Avery in grade 4.
Grade 4. There
oh my
I
God.
am. Not the one in the middle. I'm on. If you're looking at your screen, I'm the one
I see.
On the right.
And then
The
I
front
found
right.
this gem.
Oh my God.
Oh wow.
I was
building a house of cards.
Playing a house of cards. I think you see the book in the back. I'm reading Helter Skelter. Good reading material.
God.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's. Oh my God.
Oh my God. That person doesn't exist anymore.
That was me at my bar mitzvah. No, I'm only kidding. That was Mr. Pinky. That was Mr. Pinky from Hairspray. Oh, Matt.
Oh, wow.
That's Pajama Game at Lincoln Center.
Beautiful.
Oh my God. That's also Pajama Game. That was a publicity shot.
Oh, I can recognize you there.
Me and Donnie Osmond and Judy McLean when I did Joseph with Donnie.
And David, I didn't forget about you, David. Don't worry.
Oh, Dave.
This is A New Life with Alan Alda and Margaret. And that's Alan Alda's daughter.
Yeah.
I remember I was so nervous. I went out for dinner with him once, and then he asked me to go to the Science Center, and I said, you know what? I don't think I can. I'm supposed to play squash with my cousin. I'm scared to go. But he was as nice of a guy as you would imagine, just like he is in real life.
Fantastic.
And as Anne Margaret.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what
this family reunion. That's Family Reunion, a CBC movie. Rebecca Jenkins. Yeah, Family Reunion. That's the women fighting over me. Yes. Oh, and this is Titanic. It's a part that I got clipped out a little bit, but it's a British TV movie.
Here's a clip from your smallest role in your biggest film.
That's my byline, and that's Good Will Hunting. But as any actor can contest, you don't give up a part. I auditioned for one part, and they gave me this part. Originally, I had some lines, but you know what? With Ben Affleck, it was such a lesson watching him perform. Did it differently every every time. Still get residual checks. And Gus Van Sant was the director. It was great to watch him work.
Cool.
And that's an actor's life. Take one day at a time.
Great.
There you go.
So
All right,
before we
guys,
go-
thanks.
thanks, Matt. So
Thank you,
before we
Matt.
go-
Matt's
before we
an
go-
integral part of our team. Yeah.
There is. Before we go, we have to bring back the Harold Green lightning round. So I'll ask
Okie
you, a question,
dokie.
and then I'll answer myself. So Dave, what do you put on your
Yes.
latke? Applesauce or sour cream?
Both.
Okay,
You?
me, applesauce. Question number two.
Okay.
Oh, on
Question
your
number
bagel,
2. Bagel. Yes.
on your
Do
bagel,
you put on cream cheese Lux or nothing?
I put on lox
Cream cheese Lux.
and lox.
Lux.
You?
I do cream cheese and Lux.
Okay.
Your turn.
Favorite Jewish comedian?
Favorite Jewish comedian? I'm going to say Jerry Lewis. Not a
Oi.
comedian, but
I loved Toady Fields growing up.
oh wow.
Remember her? Yeah.
Favorite
Okay.
actor. Favorite film. Favorite film.
No, favorite actor comes first. Favorite actor.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Daniel Day-Lewis for me.
Okay.
I like him a lot.
I'm pretty much anything Meryl Streep does. That's common, but I like her. Favorite film?
Sure. Midnight Cowboy.
I love that.
Midnight Cowboy.
I love The Miracle Worker with Anne Bancroft and Patty Duke. Love
Oh.
Patty Duke.
Also a great one.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes. You?
Yes, me too. Yes.
Do you have a tattoo?
No. You?
No.
Okay.
We'll go to our last question. If you had one word for the future of humanity, you can maybe do 2 words. What would that be for the future of humanity?
Tolerance.
And I would say optimism. Breathe and optimism.
Nice. Good stuff.
And before we go, Abe, I just want to say it's great to be part of this theater company, but this journey would be nothing without sharing it with you. And you are my brother from another mother. And what are we in our life but of our experiences? And I'm so blessed to have you and share the experiences with you. So thank you for being there, and we make a great team.
Thank you, Dave. And I also like anchovies on my pizza. No, I'm only kidding.
Okay, there you go.
I'm only kidding. The same goes for me too, my friend. Anyways, to everybody out there in the virtual world, thank
Harold
you.
Greenland.
Harold Greenland, thank you so much. We'll see you real soon. Good night.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Dave.